and welcome back. Slightly different day today. I know I missed yesterday. That's because I was doing a magic competition. Had to prepare a video for it because we're doing it all online. Busy day. Anyway, today I'm going back to Burb because I've been talking to. I had a 3-tweet exchange with one of my favourite artists on the internet, and it was with Hedgemon, also known as Curie Lagan, I believe that's how it's pronounced. And they said that to get better at line art, which let's face it is what I'm trying to do here, the best way to do it is to do the most minimalist pencils you can get away with and then go straight onto inking. Now, to me, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. But I guess they meant it in the sense of the best way to get good fast is to fail quicker. So I'm hoping tonight's going to be a very short video. I better check that. It's just a thumbs up. I think that tonight's probably going to be a very short video because I'm going to try and do that. So let's talk about minimal constructing pencils. So this is... I've forgotten the bird's name. I did know this bird's name and I've completely forgotten it. I'll remember it at some point. If we construct this out of the most basic pencils, then we have a circular head here. I can't even draw a circle. This is where I'm like, would it be easier if I did it slower? Maybe. So we essentially have a circular head, elliptical body, they just about touch. This down here, this kind of curves in just a little bit. And then I'd say approximately halfway is where we sight the beak. So we have the top half of the beak there, little bulge out, down to there and up. And then the eye is almost but not entirely completely round. And that's the most minimal pencils I can think of. So I'm going to try and reproduce that. I've just realised that my image on the other screen is a little bit too low down for me to really see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to zoom it a bit. I don't know if you can tell, there's a lot of empty space at the top of the image. That's better. So yeah, if I scroll this image up, you can see there's a lot of empty space up here, which normally I'd crop off, but I just scrolled it down for this. So I've got a vertical piece of paper this time. Virtual paper. Virtual vertical paper. And just to get my scale of things, the head is pretty much directly alongside there, and it's about an extra radius across. So that's like, if we do that down there, that's like 3 of those, whereas that is 2 of those. For the scaling, so pencils, I'm going to do, I'm going to switch over to pressure opacity for this, so that I can, no, that's still red. So hopefully I can sketch this a little bit looser. So I have the head there. Come straight down here, there's the line there, that's sort of the outer edge of it. And then that doesn't quite connect, it's sort of like that. That was way too heavy. Yeah. Then if we do a line straight across here, the bird's head is turned almost entirely to the side. Then we have the eye here. I'm not used to doing pressure opacity. We have eye here. Where the centre of this comes across, we have... Actually, I'm trying to not do as much. So we know that's the centre line. We'll fill the rest in later. And we have the wings that sort of come about here. That comes out a bit. And this one comes out a little bit, kind of here. And that's all we need. That's all we need for this. The rest of this I am going to do just purely with inking. That's right. I'm going straight from that to my full image. God help me. I'm going to dip the opacity a bit more on that. Pressure size, full opacity. There we go. The other thing I'm going to try and do is use a thicker brush. I say brush, it's a pen, but I'm going to use thicker marks to try and get this correct. So, that's already wrong. Sort of looks like that. We have a big bulge that comes down to there. And this side comes in and then curls. I don't know if you heard that, that was my dog outside having a little whinge and a strop because I'm not there to wipe her nose or whatever. I know what you're thinking, what's that all about? What that is all about is trying to get a realistic lighting reflection on the eye. Because I may not get anything else realistic on this image, but at least I can get that much. So, let's just end that with a nicer tip. So we have a chin. Basically it's just a straight line down to there, and then here the wing sort of tucks in like that, and we go down to the leg, which we don't see. That's wrong. Let's try that again. Might be making the body a little bit too long there. In fact, yeah, I've drawn that going inwards, and it doesn't. It comes out. It comes from a straight down and goes out, and comes from a straight down and then sort of sticks out and goes in. Curious suggested using brushes. Of course, I can't use brushes because I'm an art klutz. I'll just mess it up. So I am not using brushes. I'm using a tablet. I guess I'm just basically a bourgeois piece of shit who can afford technology to account for my lack of talent. So there's that. Right then. So now I'm going to try to fill in the sort of spaced lines above the head. So there's the curvature sort of goes like this. This is the bushy head, and it sort of goes these lines, they go all the way back to about there. We also have a little bit that comes back to here and a bit that goes under, so there's kind of a faint contouring that comes around here, but then that quickly turns into these sort of lines that come under here and turn into very strong contours. They're a bit closer together than those as well. They're a bit more tightly knit. And they come right back into these ones that come back to here. Back from this eye where these should come down to here, so that these can join in to there. I know I said I was going to be doing a cartoonier style for this part of the week, but part of that is being able to do stronger line work, I feel, and that's what this is all about. And then we have a little bit of this curve kind of continues down here, but here they become more spaced out. And this should actually split off and kind of go down here a bit. And under here, counter to this, we have this little bit of blue here, which of course I'm doing in black because it's line art. So these parts then turn into bigger arcs which come down to a neckline here. So if we just get this neckline in here first, that's where that's going to be. Yeah, that looks like garbage, but the point of this is that I'm trying to not undo work like this. I'm trying to keep it all... Oh god, no, but I'm going to undo that. That's just a big blob. We definitely have more kind of feathery, almost like a sort of limit to the neck there. I don't know how to describe that otherwise. It's kind of like that. This is bad. Having a real bad time drawing this. I'd say. See, without the pencil, I don't really know what to draw in these areas. They just kind of... There is a kind of a flow of the feathers. They sort of... If you look carefully, you can see the individual lines of the feathers, but I don't want to draw every single hair on the feathers. What I really want to do is just kind of do the barest outlines of them like this. But then it looks scaled, like it's a bloody fish or something. I don't know. I do not know. Ugh. I'm going to undo a whole lot of that actually. So these parts kind of look a bit kind of looks a bit penguiny here. So I'm gonna give that more of a wing tip. But it doesn't really come away from the... That's the thing, it doesn't come away from the body so much as it kind of... That's the mistake. That's the mistake I've made there. Is that that does come out a bit, but then this part actually sort of continues down behind, because that's where the wings go. They go behind. So that's the bottom of my image, so I don't want to go any lower than that. So I don't want to worry too much about what's down there, but one thing I am worried about is the fact that he seems to have... This bird has a little cinch in the waist. I'm fairly certain that it's not meant to. So what if I just turn my pencils back on? I don't know why that's linked. So what I really want is for this to sort of come down here and stay more like that, and the same on this side. That's more like it. So there is a separation here where the feathers come down. That just flattens the image though, it just flattens it out. What I need is for them to make a kind of, like just that bit of shape like that. But how to do that and keep them looking fluffy, that's the question. And I don't think I can. Well, there is one nice strong contour line down here. It sort of comes all the way down to that part actually. Let's briefly go back to the pencils, because there's kind of a contour here which then comes up like that. And there's a bit there, and then it kind of goes like that. And although this part doesn't have much shape to it, that goes up to there. We actually have some greyish lines that come all the way down to like this part of the body. So they can come all the way down to here. That cinches in too much, but it's too late to fix it now. Fuck my life, this is just dreadful. So let's work on this, right? So we have a soft feathery appearance that comes down to there and up here. We also have a kind of a, there's a sort of like there's a kind of an almost feathery edge here that sort of comes down the centre of the neck. I'm not sure if that makes any sense to keep it in the image though. Oh god, did I just pick like the worst subject for doing this style of drawing on? Because it's just got, it has no strong lines on the image itself. I have to invent them. I have to invent strong lines. That's bad, that's bad, 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 bad. See, these come down here. This is the yellow part here, which comes down this area. So that's the yellow part there. This is the sort of the contour back into white. And then just under this wing here we have a bit more blue. What have we learned? We've learned that if we want to draw an edge like that, we actually have to draw it as that part of the feathers. Oh, who the hell's that now? So, getting rid of that, and getting rid of that. What we need is partial feathers that come up that way to block that in. I am just not feeling it today. This all looks just so wrong to me. Do I need to hatch in the actual feathers? I can't. How do I show that this area is darker than this area without making it either completely black or just entirely covered in fine lines? Like, am I talking hours of hatching here? Is that the only way to do this? Is that my calling in life, is to spend umpty hours just doing lines constantly and nothing else? Do I just need to capture the kind of direction of it? Is that going to be enough? If I try and focus on that way, and break it in, so we have lines down the center coming like this, lines along here coming like this, down to lines here going like this. This is very rapidly becoming not clean line art, but in fact just like essentially sketching but with darker ink. This bird looks fucking... I've given a bird mange, is what I've done here. I've given a bird some kind of feather disease. I'm angry with myself, really, for having started on this endeavour. I'm starting to wonder if it might be quicker just to start again from scratch, rather than having to erase all these fine lines. Right. This was the last time it didn't look like complete garbage. Okay, maybe it still kind of looked like complete garbage. It didn't look as much like complete garbage. It's... Leave that little dot on there just to remind me where I started from, so that I can go like this and not worry too much about anything else. Right, at this point this is a bird. Okay, anything else I draw is going to go on an extra layer on top of this. So what if we started to fill in the feather lines with harsher lines? Let's forget about what should these lines? They should start soft, get thick, and then get thin again, right? That's... This bird looks like it's full of water. Except that's not where the feather line goes. The feather line starts down here. It's like that. Right then. This bird has stripes on its head that go like that. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to do them as actual stripes, not little hatchy lines. We're going to do them as stripes with a little bit of variation. Same, we're going to do these stripes here. And these stripes under here. Curves wrong. I need to imagine that coming essentially like magnetic lines that come from there and go to about here on the beak. Except these actually come all the way into the beak, don't they? Maybe those are the only stripes I need. Maybe those are the ones. And then we have let's connect these lines. Let's not do them as sparse things. Let's do them as nice big loops that connect. And we're going to start here and do them this way. They need to go deeper. They start here, but they come all the way down to here. So we've got essentially like that. There. That is the minimalist bird. I didn't need all that scratchy stuff. I didn't need any of that. I just needed to find the main forms. Like that. That's all it needed. That is a job done well. Oh, wrong layer. I'm going to merge that down. Cool. So here's the question. Can I invent feet for this bird? So we know that that comes down like that. Can I? Why can't I draw on this? Have I locked the layer? What's wrong? What's wrong here? Oh, I'm in erase mode. Right, there we go. So we have, we essentially need the leg there and the leg there coming down to like bird's legs go like that, right? Wait, do budgies have legs? Let me find another picture of this budgie, because I did another picture of this exact same bird like about 4 days in. I think it was day 5. There we go. What does bird's feet look like? It's just loading. Right. So let's just load this up. Can I load this up? I don't know how to load this up in here. I should be able to drag it in and just drop it in. But that's not working. Can I drop it into there? I'll drop it onto the control panel. There we go. Here's budgie picture number 2. Same bird, different day. Now, I know in my heart of hearts that this bird has legs that go backward knee into there like that. Let's do this in a stronger colour. Up the opacity, undo that. I know that this bird's legs why am I setting the okay. I know in my heart of... What am I drawing in the background? Oh, I get it. I know in my heart of hearts that this bird has like backward knees that go like that. Right? But you don't get to see that because the bird's feathers essentially take over before that last knee. So what this bird actually has... Why can't I hit the little button? There we go. What this bird actually has going on, what it will have going on, is a rounded bottom there, followed by just legs sticking out and claws. And there'll be something underneath it, essentially like that, and it's going to come down like that, one there, that'll disappear behind, like that. So if I can now essentially invent that on this bird, so that'll come down into an arc like that. So this arc comes down like that, and what we have back here is tail feathers. That's what's going on there. See this? That's the tail going straight down. So the body ends there, and the tail goes down there. So what we've actually got going on here is that the tail comes down here, the body ends there, the feet will be here. Right, let's give ourselves another layer just in case this goes completely fuck up. So I'm swearing a lot today. This is a... I must be in a real bad mood. I just set my brush size to 1000. That's not going to work. So, what we know we have is essentially claws here. And they are fairly round. They're going to attach to something there. Let's start this again. We're going to have a claw there, a claw there. That won't be as long. It's going to go back a bit and then into the leg, where we have essentially a little thing there to take it away. And then we're going to have another one here, which will be more centralized because it's going to be turned further towards us. So that goes in there. Actually, does that go in there? Or does that? Oops. This bar continues along here. That goes in like that. That's claw the first. Claw the second, come down this way. Oh yeah, that's going to be the short one on that side, isn't it? It's going to have a much longer one on the opposite side. So I've just invented the whole bottom half of that bird from whole cloth, which is why it's completely the wrong size for the rest of the picture. Shit. It is totally the wrong size, because these claws should be like that. They should be huge compared to the rest of this bird. Like the claw should be large enough to essentially hold its own head. That's bird claw size. I feel like I'm on a roll here. I feel like I'm on a roll. So I'm going to try that again, and this time I'm going to do it slightly differently because I'm going to do the perch first. So we know for a fact. In fact, let's quickly go back to here. Let's erase some of this. Wait, what's going on there? Have I don't know what layer that's on. What layer is that on? Oh, my opacity's not at full. No wonder the weird crap's going on. None of it's there. Some of it's on the background. Oh wow, I am really messing this thing up today. Right, let's. Okay. Why can't I erase that on that layer? I can, it's just taking a while. Right. Let's get back to business. The business of this bird. So, the bottom of this bird is here, ish. The thing it's standing on is here. The claws will be like that size. That's the size of this bird's claws, I have decided. This one's going to come straight down and into that. So essentially that claw is holding on there. Why am I using such a huge brush for this? Right. There we go. So, the first bird leg is going to come down here. It's essentially going to come out in this direction. The claw is going to stretch this far. That's going to be behind. This is going to be in front. It's going to split into two. This one, on the other hand, is going to come out in this direction. Except that bird's looking straight at us in that picture. So this one should also come out almost vertically down. And this one should have a slight curve that way. Like so. Back part there. Right. Here we go. So. This leg comes down to here. No. This leg comes down to here. Big claw there. Smaller claw there. Into that line. Into there. This should come further out in front, really. This part should be flat until it hits that curve. Think about it. That is a round bar that's holding on to. So it will have curled round claws to hold on to it. So the problem with this claw is not that it's too flat, but in fact that it is too there we go. This is what working without a reference does to your brain. And this leg is going to come behind here. That goes that far, and then we have it's almost right, but it needs to go down to a taper. can't remember what this bird's tail feathers look like, but I know that bird tail feathers in general kind of look like that. Let's just take off. Yeah. So this essentially comes all the way up to there. Take that little bit off there because that was wrong. That should come down from there like that. Yeah. That's my budge. That's what we're sticking with. It's a bit top heavy. It's very top heavy actually. Sitting back and looking at it, it's like huge head, tiny little feet. I just can't make the feet big enough. Shall we, now that we've got an extra layer, shall we just add one final attempt to get these feet right, where we just make them look ridiculously huge, where we just have big glonking claws that come out to here like that. And we're going to say the tail feathers come all the way down from here this time. And we're not even going to see the edge of them. Is it that we've not given the bird enough belly? Do the feet need to be lower, maybe? It's so hard to tell. See, here the bird's leaning quite far forward, so you would expect that. So, that's the little feet that don't look big enough for the head. That's the big feet. I can't really tell which I prefer. I'm going to go with the big feet. I'm going to save that. That's my budge with the big feet. Yeah. Sorry it was a rough one today, everyone. Follow me for more bullshit.